So people tell me to like slow down and focus pretty often. I've actually gotten this advice from a couple self-proclaimed mentors over the course of the last year or so, and many friends. And this is because I do a lot of things. The way I thought about this up until earlier this year was just that there are a lot. Well, there's a very specific thing I'm interested in life, for which you can reference my life goals post. I'll put a link in this post. But toward that one specific goal, I feel like there are a lot of ways I could get there, and so I tend to just approach the problem by trying a lot of different things. Uh, and what that looks like is me starting a million different projects and following through on some of them and completing or being successful with very few. Now, I think of that as like diversification and making sure that I'm not limiting myself to one specific approach or plan of attack because in some cases it's not up to me whether or not those things work out. But I try not to start enough that it becomes my fault that those things don't work out. I think that puts it simply. Anyway, Essentialism is a book about focusing on the one most important thing at the expense of other things. Now, saying yes to too many of other people's projects or favors is something that I did a ton when I was in college, and I still do a little of now, and so is one of my like visible weaknesses that I know of and I try to be aware of and account for. It's very easy to say yes to opportunities people offer you. The most recent and most like heartbreaking story for me is that I co-founded Lander with Jeremy, who was the person who owned a drone at the time, and I was like, hey, can I borrow your drone and start a drone company? And 2 years later, I've gotten to fly for some pretty exciting companies and do some really exciting work. And Jeremy got a job offer about a week after we founded Lander, and he quit. I set up the LLC on my own, and he did not technically co-found it with me, and ended up working full-time for a guy here in the Springs for 2 years. 40 hours, well, it was often like 80 hours a week, and not getting paid nearly enough to do it. Now, that's not to say that I made more than Jeremy in the last 2 years. That's not true. I actually made less. But it is to say that I also got job offers along the way, many of which would have made me more money. But that those were not worth taking for me. I mean, one from the Pentagon, dude who worked at the Pentagon was like, you know what, you should be an analyst. I'll put in a good word for you. The actual thing that happened. Several study abroad companies were like, are you looking for a job? We know you have your own company, but can we hire you? Several other companies that I probably shouldn't name have offered me jobs, and like I appreciate that. I'm very thankful for it. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that to make the point that there are opportunities that look really good in life, but that if you know your driving goal, you can say no to. And so it's not necessarily that I have the problem of saying yes to too many things, but that I try to say yes to things that work together with the other things I'm doing and can build on and improve. So a great example of a thing that looks like a distracting project but is not is I recently said yes to help produce my friend Nick's film. And while this looks like a complete distraction from a media company that I own and a study abroad course that I started and other travel and media related things that I'm doing lately, it's actually a really fun way for me to work productively with a bunch of film people that I just met in LA earlier this year. And it's a really great way for me to work productively with Nick, whose work I always want to support. And I mean, I'm a good friend of his because he got me into time-lapse photography and has always supported my work. So it just feels like a thing I should do. But it's also not, it's not a distraction. It sort of puts me in places like I've had to go to LA and New York now in extra time in the last 3 months because of the film. But those were things I wanted to do, and now I had a good reason to do them. So it's put me in situations that I wanted to be in and that happened to be advantageous for other projects. Like I needed to be in New York for my podcast recordings, and I'll need to go back both for the film and for the podcast recordings. So it's not like it's like tearing me away from my life. It's something that I can do in cooperation with other projects that I have going on. So that's where my head comes from when I think about essentialism, about choosing one important project. And I'm sorry for rambling a bit, but the book talks about things like that and how to balance them against your reason for being, so to speak, and how to choose what is important, and then also how to think of no as a powerful, important gift that you can exercise and give to people. And sometimes you just need to say no, but other times no can be exactly what other people need to hear from you. So the book is a fantastic tool and resource, and I'll let you read my analysis of it because it's more intelligent than me just trying to talk about it. So I'll just give you the overview of how I heard about it. I was in Hawaii for another thing that just happened to like work out on a timeline I was already on. I was going to Hawaii to celebrate the success of a previous project from 2016, and just happened to be there at the same time as two friends that I met at VidCon last year, and who wanted to go on a drone shoot, and so I said yes to that, not because it would ruin my Hawaii trip, but because it would be this awesome extra opportunity on top of a Hawaii trip that I was already doing. So, anyway, the people I met during that collaboration, Rochelle and Cardia, both super cool, like meditators, vloggers, live very similar lives to mine, and had book recommendations, which is like my favorite thing. And Essentialism was a book that Rochelle recommended as being like a life-changing, important moment for her. It really helped her focus on the single thing. Her single thing, by the way, is helping people meditate. Meditation as a way to transform your life and empower yourself. And she has been very good at focusing on that one thing. And in the last year, she's started and gotten people going through an online course that teaches them how to meditate, which is phenomenal. I'm taking it right now, actually. I'll put a link also in this article. But yeah, so there's the brief, like, hey, why is this post relevant for you? I hope you enjoyed watching it. Sorry it was a bit long. But with that, I'll let you read the post and check out what I thought about the book itself. I would close out the video, but you have more to read from me. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the post. Make sure to share it with whoever you think of while you're reading it, because that's probably who needs to read it even more than you do. So that's how I'm going to end the video. Cool. I'll see you in the next video or post. Thanks for hanging out on my website. Good to see you around here. I hope I see more of you. Adios.